In the headlines, Kaduna community raises alarm over water shortage and health risks. Kano residents decry high transport fares despite fuel price reduction. France dismisses claims of plotting with Nigeria against Niger as baseless. Away from Nigeria, Israel refutes reports of Gaza ceasefire agreement. Good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you for joining us. News in detail. Residents of Agbakpa community in Kaduna State have decried the lack of potable water, lamenting that the situation has made life for them and exposed them to health hazards. Trustee Bello visited the community in Kaduna North local government area of the state, from where he reports that residents there have been subjected to relying on water from the ditch for their daily use, amidst other challenges. The report.
The community is not far from the busy Aliagili Road, although located on the bank of a stream within a farm area at Abakpa in Kaduna. Most of the inhabitants are farmers. One of their challenges in the community is lack of potable drinking water, as this ditch is their only source of water supply for drinking and other uses.
We are suffering a lot here because we have to come to this ditch to get water for drinking, cooking, bathing and other domestic purposes. We fetch water here because we don't have a borehole. Well, government supply water. It is very challenging because I have to come as early as 6:30 a.m. after prayers to fetch the water when it is still settled and clean.
With the ditch located close to the cemetery, residents say the water often gets contaminated.
The ditch is close to the cemetery, which is not healthy, but we have no option than to use it. The people often defecate here, and even when we are aware of it, we still have no option and we must use the water because we don't have money to sink a well.
They are appealing to the government to come to their aid.
We are begging the government to help us. We know our government has listening ear, so we want him to sink a borehole to ease our stress.
Besides water challenge, environmental degradation and lack of other social amenities are hindering the development in the community. Bella Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Now, residents of Kano Metropolis have expressed displeasure that the cost of intra-city shuttles have remained high despite slight reductions in the price of petrol in the country, while many had expected that transporters will effect a similar slash in their fares in line with the reduced fuel cost. The situation has remained the same, raising concerns among residents. Trustee Abdulaziz Ibrahim has more.
The competitive dynamics introduced by recent fuel price reductions are expected to drive down prices among oil marketers and lower costs for consumers. However, in Kano State, residents report little or no change in pump prices.
I use bike on daily basis, but what the information I got is different with what I'm seeing, because they say it's 930 something naira, but if you go to filling station, some filling stations are still selling it 1,100, some 1,010 naira. So it differs, not same prices.
So I only heard that the reduced price But me getting to some filling station, I discovered that the price is still the same. Some of the filling stations, the difference is 10 naira.
Residents and transporters say although pump prices have dropped slightly from around 1,300 to 1,250 naira in the past to about 990 to 1,030 naira since the reduction, transportation costs remain unaffected in the state.
Sincerely,
the transportation cost has not reduced because I'm paying the same amount I paid before the reduction. When you ask the keke riders, some will say they buy fuel at the same price and they don't see why they should charge less. What passengers must consider is that although there has been a small reduction in fuel prices, other expenses such as engine oil are still high. Even the general cost of living has not dropped. So that is why some of us don't even see why we should reduce the fare.
Not at all, sir. Not at all. Not at all. There's no difference. You know, from here to Brigade, we do enter, off today service 250 naira. From Bata to Brigade is 250. And the thing is too expensive to us. How much are they paying us, sir? How much are they paying us? If you calculate those money, your salary have gone already. Look at the way we are suffering in this country. It's not funny at all. Presidents should do something. Governors should do something about it, please.
The situation reflects similar concerns from other regions of the country, where many, like those in Kano, are hoping for further reductions that will eventually bring fuel prices down to about 500 naira per litre.
I'm calling on the government to look into it. If there is a reduction, let there be reduction like 500 naira per litre so that the masses will live a better life. At least cost of food is going high because of the fuel price. We want the government to look into it.
You can see that this price increase is the causes of all this hungry in the country now. Everywhere there is hungry. If they reduce this price at least to 500 naira now, I think things will be okay. Things will be okay because all those transporters, all those importers, they are using fuel. And I think it's the causes of all this. We are talking about dollar. If fuel reduced for us in Nigeria, we enjoy.
My own suggestion is this. I advise government to put eyes on the filling station owners. They should monitor their prices because they are not helping matter at us. Government is trying their best, but the filling station owners, the marketers, they are not helping us. That is the only thing I can advise government to do.
What remains to be seen is how transportation costs will evolve in coming months. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News.
Politics. Some prominent politicians in the country, including a former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, and former presidential candidate Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, on Tuesday, met with the leadership of the Social Democratic Party in Abuja to strategize ahead of the 2027 general elections. The meeting, Daily Trust gathered, was aimed at forging a united front to dislodge the ruling All Progressives Congress-led government in the next general elections. This is coming 2 days after El-Rufai had denied the claim in some quarters that he was planning to dump the ruling APC for an opposition party. The former Kaduna governor, in a post on his X handle on Sunday, asked Nigerians to disregard the claim. However, bigwigs of the PDP, APC and the SDP were part of yesterday's meeting. Leaders of opposition parties have been consulting recently as part of efforts to either form a merger ahead of the 2027 election or a coalition against President Bola Tinubu. Last weekend, the Shekarau-led League of Northern Democrats hinted at efforts to transform to a political party ahead of 2027. In a post on his Facebook page, a chieftain of the PDP, an ally of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Segun Showunmi, said the meeting was strategic. Now, the People's Democratic Party has dissociated itself from the assault on the Sun newspaper correspondent, Njubisi Orji, which reportedly occurred within the premises of the party's national secretariat in Abuja. The PDP National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, made this known at a press conference in Abuja on Tuesday. Ologunaba said the perpetrator acted independently and not on the PDP's directive. A staff member of the PDP attacked to the office of the National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, who was recently removed by the court, had on Monday assaulted Orji. The staff member also forcefully prevented other journalists from gaining access to the premises of the party's national headquarters. Ologunaba, who said the party was committed to the rule of law and the democratic tenets of freedom of the press, transparency and openness, condemned the action. The PDP spokesman, while expressing regret over the incident, stated that the party completely dissociates itself from such act of violence and attack on journalists.
We are a rule of law compliant party. We believe in this finality of the judicial process. We've always respected judicial pronouncement, and we will always abide by court judgment. And that is what I said. And the position of the party has not changed to that. We will, as a party, consistent with our position in the past, as rule of law compliant, we will obey the order of court. We will follow the processes and ensure full compliance to the pronouncement of the Court of Appeal, because that is the position as of today. So that is what it is, and I hope that clarifies if there's any ambiguity at all.
To a sad development, an operative of the Sokoto State Community Guard Corps, name withheld, has mistakenly shot and killed himself shortly after participating in the joint operation that led to the rescue of 66 kidnapped victims in the state. The operation, led by the Army, was conducted on Monday at Tidibali Forest in the eastern part of the state on Monday. Confirming the incident on Wednesday, the Special Advisor to Governor Ahmed Aliyu on Security, Colonel Ahmed Usman, retired, said the operative died as a result of accidental discharge. According to Usman, the operation, sponsored by the state government in a bid to crush bandits in the state, has been largely successful. He said so far, 66 kidnapped victims have been rescued and several bandits killed during the operation. And the Lagos State Special Offences Court, sitting in Ikeja, has assumed jurisdiction to hear the allegations of accepting gratification, corrupt demand, and receiving fraudulently obtained property made against the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. Justice Rahman Oshodi, in his ruling delivered on Wednesday, held that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission successfully established that the court has territorial jurisdiction to entertain counts 8 to 20 of the 26-count charge made against the former CBN governor based on various facts presented in the evidence attached to the case file. The court, however, agreed with lawyers to Emefiele that counts 1 to 4 of the charge are unconstitutional as they are not based on any existing laws in Nigeria. On April 8, 2024, the EFCC had arraigned Emefiele before the court on the 26-count charge bordering on alleged abuse of office and irregular allocation of $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira, respectively. In his ruling, Justice Oshodi noted that while counts 1 to 4 relate to the general offense of abuse of office as defined by criminal law, the specific conduct alleged in those counts, specifically the allocation of foreign exchange without a bid, is not defined as an offense in any written law. Consequently, the court struck out these counts. Regarding counts 8 to 26, the judge emphasized that by applying established legal principles, the evidence presented was sufficient to affirm the court's territorial jurisdiction. The court has adjourned to February 24 and 26 for continuation of the trial. And leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, who is currently being detained, has opposed the request by the federal government for the resumption of his trial. Kanu's lead counsel, Aloy Ejimako, revealed in a post on X on Tuesday. According to him, his client, Kanu, had rejected the federal government's bid to reopen the trial and insisted that the trial judge, Justice Binta Nyako, must recuse herself from the case. Kanu's lawyer, Ejimako, argued that Justice Nyako's decision to recuse herself was still valid and binding. He further accused the prosecution of attempting to mislead the court, insisting that Kanu no longer has a case before Justice Nyako. Kanu, who is being prosecuted on 7 counts of alleged treasonable felony and terrorism, has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Now, the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, has approved the sum of 1.4 billion naira for the dualization of road networks in the Maiduguri metropolis to reduce traffic congestion. The governor signed the funds for Ngomari to Muhammadu Buhari International Airport during the State Executive Council meeting in Maiduguri. At the maiden press briefing for the year, some commissioners who addressed newsmen said the road networks project will be executed before international flight operations begins. The commissioners also revealed that the state university has been renamed Kashim Ibrahim University in honor of the first northern governor of Nigeria. They further disclosed that plans are underway to reduce the number of out-of-school children from 700,000 to 200,000 by 2027. In the health sector, they noted that the state plans to train health personnel and equip health facilities for effective and efficient services across the state.
This is subject to necessary legislative work by the Borno State House of Assembly. The original bill, law setting the university indicates that the university is Borno State University. So there is need for legislative work to rename the university by changing the law. The change of name is also subject to the Ministry of Education taking the necessary action and the renamed university board taking the necessary action to inform the relevant regulatory authorities, including the NUC, JAM, Koren, and other relevant regulatory organizations.
We have also been sponsoring doctors to go on specialization. Upon completion, then they can become, consultants in our numerous hospitals, but especially at the, at the Borno State University Teaching Hospital. There are so far 54 in number. They are spread across the nation. Some here in University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, but they are employees of the Borno State Government, Ministry of Health, and upon completion, they will come back to us. That has also taken a lot of youngsters off the roads so that they can assist us.
You're watching the news update coming to you live from Trust TV studios in the nation's capital, Abuja. Coming up ahead. An 86-year-old woman and a visually impaired lady inspire generations by memorizing the entire Quran. Details of the story and more after the break. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Here is a recap of some of our top stories. Kaduna community raises alarm over water shortage and health risks. Kano residents decry high transport fares despite fuel price reduction. And now moving on to other stories. In a remarkable display of determination and faith, an 86-year-old woman and a visually impaired lady in Gombe State have achieved the extraordinary feat of memorizing the entire Holy Quran. This inspiring accomplishment, observers say, challenges younger generations to overcome obstacles and embrace acts of devotion. Trust TV's Hassan Koli has more.
In the quiet town of Gombe, these two remarkable women have achieved a spiritual feat that many find daunting. At 86, Hawa'u Muhammad dedicated years to memorizing the Quran, providing that age is not a barrier to fulfilling one's aspirations. For Halima Abdurrahman, blindness was never a limitation as she persevered through countless hours of study, engraving the holy verses deeply within her heart.
I'm incredibly grateful for this blessing. I never thought I would reach this stage. Age is not a factor when you possess the will. Allah grants strength to those who seek it with patience and determination. This presents a perfect opportunity for younger generations to harness that strength. My eyes may not see, but my heart sees the light of the Quran. This is my greatest joy. I used to listen to many scholars reciting the Quran on my phone, which was incredibly helpful in my efforts. I urge students, especially those without visual impairments, to be determined and seek knowledge. It is indeed a blessing and a light.
Their stories have garnered widespread admiration and motivated others within the community. Religious leaders and scholars commend their dedication, presenting it as an exemplary model for everyone, particularly the youth, to emulate. This woman demonstrates that no challenge is insurmountable. We hope their stories inspire the youth to dedicate themselves to their faith and education. The two women now challenge younger generations to strive for excellence and embrace discipline in memorizing the Quran, emphasizing that with faith and effort, nothing is truly impossible. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, reporting for Trust TV.
Now, France on Wednesday described as groundless the allegation by Niger that Nigeria had offered space in its territory to France in order to destabilize the former French colony. Bertrand de Ceysan, political counselor to the Embassy of France in Nigeria, disclosed this in an interview in Abuja. Recall that Abdurrahman Tichani, the Nigerian military leader, accused France of plotting to destabilize the country by using neighboring Benin and Nigeria as a base for attacks. Tichani, who spoke in Hausa in an interview, alleged that France was negotiating with terrorists in Nigeria to destabilize his country. He alleged that France made a substantial payment to President Bola Tinubu to establish a military base in Nigeria and also met and negotiated with Boko Haram and Lakurawa, a possible variation of the pronunciation Lakurawa, a new terrorist group in Nigeria. And now, away from Nigeria, Israel on Wednesday denied agreeing to a week-long ceasefire in Gaza in exchange for a list from Hamas of state hostages that the group would release. Media reports claimed the proposed deal would include a 6 to 8 week ceasefire, expanded aid access to the Palestinian enclave, and efforts to rebuild its health system destroyed by Israeli strikes. In return, Israel was said to receive a list of hostages still alive and information about the seized hostages, including the locations of their remains. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dismissed the reports as absolutely false. In a statement issued by his office, he said Israel has not agreed to a pause in the war in exchange for a list of hostages and accused Hamas of waging a psychological warfare. The statement came as negotiators met in Doha in renewed efforts to broker an agreement between Israel and Hamas to end the war, which began in October 2023, and to secure the release of approximately 100 hostages still held in Gaza. And finally, sports. West Ham on Wednesday sacked Julen Lopetegui as manager after just 22 games in charge, with former Chelsea boss Graham Potter expected to replace him at the London Stadium. The Hammers are 14th in the Premier League table, 7 points above the relegation zone, after just 6 wins in 20 league matches during the Spaniards' tenure. A 4-1 hammering at champions Manchester City on Saturday was the final straw for club chiefs. In a statement, the club said the first half of the 2024-2025 season has not aligned with its ambitions, adding that it has therefore taken action in line with its objectives. West Ham were among the biggest spenders in the Premier League in the summer transfer window, splashing out around £125 million on players including Mark Skillman, Crescencio Somerville and Nicholas Fulkrug. That's about it on the news update at this moment. Remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentary. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching.